to Last is a weekly entrepreneurship and business mastery and coaching program that we invite individuals with professional skills and entrepreneurial experience to come and share with us what it takes to build a very, very successful business. To use this platform and use the skills and experiences and the network that we have to bring to us every week what it takes to build a very successful business. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you for all of you joining us as we discuss our topic for tonight. So this program is powered by HiPAC Services, and HiPAC is an entrepreneurial leadership and business mastery consulting firm. We are focused mainly on training and consulting for small and medium-sized enterprises to give them coaching in terms of building structures and systems in their business so that they can scale and actually have access to funding. So you are in the right place if you want to build a business. If you are starting fresh, you need to have this information. If you're already in business and you are struggling, you need to get this information as well. And for any skilled professional who intends to leverage on their skills and transition into entrepreneurship, you need to attend these programs every Thursday so that you can acquire the needed skills and experiences that you need to be able to build your business to last. Tonight, we are talking about partnerships. Partnerships we know are when two or more individuals come together in terms of business, where two or more people come together to put their heads and their resources and their ideas together to build a business. We have all known how beneficial it's been for some businesses, but many times people have really struggled coming together as friends and building businesses. What happens? Why are some partnerships doing so well and others are really struggling to even make it to a certain point? In fact, there have been situations where just coming together to form partnership in business have ended up in situations where people are not even talking to each other anymore. Why are these happening? What can we do? Because at some point in your business, you need people to partner with in order to grow. At some point in this journey called entrepreneurship, you might need somebody or some group of people to come together, join hands together to scale your business. What are the do's and don'ts? What are we supposed to put together to ensure that we're able to build that partnership in order to support the growth of this business? That's what we are talking about tonight. And as usual, we don't bring people who don't have the experience. We bring people who know the stuff. And tonight we are very fortunate to have a lawyer who has actually done this with us before, somewhere last year, and is coming back again to educate us on what it takes to form the right partnerships as soon as that idea comes to mind. Lawyer Sarkodie is our associate consultant here at HiPAC Services. And if you need any legal advice as far as your business is concerned, my dear friends, I recommend none other but Lawyer Sarkodie. He understands our system and he's going to tell us briefly again about his background, and you will understand why I'm saying that he's the right person to go. He's been in our space as entrepreneurs before. He's actually in the same space, and he has worked in the same space with other people in the financial services sector. Lawyer, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Doc. Thank you.
Great. So you've been here before, and forever I'll be very grateful to you. Anytime we call on you, you are very willing to come and share your experiences and your knowledge with us for us to build our business to last. But just for those who don't know you and probably have not met you, we want to just give us a very brief background about you before we jump into our discussion for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Doc, and thank you for the opportunity once more. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share the little that we know and learn from other people who know better than us. It's just an opportunity that we have. And on the contrary, I would say I'm also very grateful to you for the opportunity, the exposure. You know, behind the scenes, things are happening.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that. My name is Kwabena Sarkodie. Currently, I'm a lawyer by profession, a practicing lawyer. Proud to becoming a lawyer. I was a banker. I was a banker for 17 years. And my very area of expertise is banking operations. And aside the practice, we do a few things. That brings in a few coins. I like litigation. Yes, litigation is good. And we advise people on businesses as well. So generally, that is that. I'm not too young. I'm not too old.
I like that bit. All right. I mean, as I said from the beginning, we have referred a couple of members in this community to lawyer, and they attest to the fact that this is the man that you have to go to. I mean, anyway, we'll talk more about that. Lawyer, tonight we are talking about partnership. From the law point of view, and then we understand what partnership is all about. what is partnership, and why are there benefits if, as entrepreneurs, we pull our resources together into partnership? And most importantly, what has been the reason why many partnerships don't survive the way we really want them to be? We start very good, but it ends up in sorrow. What has been the situation? So if you can kindly walk us through these three stages for us.
All right. All right. I think you've asked 3 or 4 questions in one.
Yeah.
So I'll take them one at a time. Going through my slides, I noticed that we've had this discussion before. So the impression I got was, one, we are doing a refresher course, or we are doing a revision probably for an exam, or for those who are joining us for the first time, it's an opportunity for them to hear something. But what I also noticed was that most of the things that we are going to discuss, we've heard them before, but the greatest challenge is how to put them to use. Yes, because a lot of the things that we are going to share tonight, even if when we go onto the internet, they are there. But the challenge we have is how to implement them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do. We'll walk ourselves through it, and then probably remind ourselves that it is business we are doing, and for that matter, we need to do and do it well. So to start with, I'll try as much as possible not to be very legal. So let's use everyday English, and so that everybody can understand what we are talking about. Yes, partnership in our daily is a daily life language. I mean, we use it every day. It's all about two or more people coming together, pulling resources together to operate a business. It's basically like that. And when it happens, the people who've agreed to do the business share everything depending on the type of partnership that they are operating. They share the losses, the profits, the liabilities, everything that comes with it. So when two or more people come together with a common agenda to run a business, that is what we call partnership. So let's say two people on campus who decided to sell ice water or pure water. They pull their resources together and then they write in front of their hall room, ice or sachet water is sold here. That is partnership, regardless of how big or how small it is. In as much as it is not one person who is operating it, it's a partnership. And partnership don't necessarily need to be um, friends. It can be partners, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. Each of them has its own advantages and disadvantages. And as we go through, we will see. Now, let's look at quickly the features of partnership. What does partnership looks like? One, it comes with a shared ownership. So one person don't have control. It is controlled by the people who have agreed to run the business. And it also has a shared responsibility. That is one thing that we need to take note. So whatever comes out of it, the risk associated with the business is not shouldered by just one individual, but all those who've agreed to be part of the entity. As I said earlier, the profit and loss is shared. The liabilities is shared. So those are some of the basic features of a partnership agreement. Doc, as I proceed, if you have a question, you can interject so that we will talk about it.
Okay.
Now, partnership for me is good. If you ask me, is good. But the goodness or the how bad it will be depends on how you manage it. It is good in the sense that one, it gives you the opportunity to pull resources together to run the business. So if one person has 10,000 Ghana cedis and three people are coming together, each bringing 10,000, it gives them 30,000 as the working capital. So it gives them the financial muscle. So what 10,000 cedis can do, 30,000 can do more. And of course, if 30,000 is doing more, it means the returns will also be more compared to if one person is running with just the 10,000. So one good advantage of a partnership business is that the financial resources becomes quite huge for them to run. Again, it helps the people to get access to a lot of expertise because assuming two or more people are running the business, Probably one is good with one side of the business. Let's say one is good with management. The other is good with marketing. The other probably is good with finances. It gives them that room to have access to quite a number of expertise. In a situation where I'm just putting it side by side a one-man business, who isn't an accountant? You need to hire an accountant to do your accounting work for you. So it means you are spending more. But if in the partnership group, you have an accountant, you need not go outside to get an accountant. If you have somebody who is so good in marketing, you don't need to go outside and then hire somebody to be your marketing manager because you're having all those people as part of your team. Another advantage is the shared workload. In tree, we say if one person is carrying, it's heavy. But in a partnership business, a lot of people are sharing the responsibility. So the load becomes lighter for them to carry. And another advantage is that it gives them the opportunity to make better decisions. Because when one decision is falling down, another one will be good enough to inject it to make it come alive. So it gives them the opportunity of making better decisions compared to one person making a business decision. And I think all the things that we've spoken about, they are so it happens in our everyday lives. Three people taking a decision and one person taking the same decision. The likelihood that the one person will make a bad decision is higher compared to the two or more people making that same decision. So generally, these are some of the advantages. And as I said earlier, for me, partnership is a good thing to do. Now, the big question that we always ask ourselves, but even before I go on to that, let's look at a few disadvantages. Of course, in this world, everything that has strength will definitely have its own weaknesses. So let's look at the two or three disadvantages of engaging yourself in a partnership business. One, you lose autonomy. You, the individual who is going to join the group, you will lose your autonomy because you can't have absolute control. That is one thing we should take note of. So if you are somebody who is always aiming to be in control, forget about partnership. You go and fight because you can't stand opposition. If you bring up an idea and somebody shoots it down, it's going to bring a trouble. So if you are somebody who is so much interested in having an autonomy over a business, don't try partnership. It won't work. So you lose autonomy. And then it is a perfect ground for conflict. Conflict can easily arise when there is partnership. Indeed, if you are running a one-man business, who are you going to fight with? You can only fight with yourself. But if you are two or more, in as much as there will be decisions that will be taken, the likelihood that there will be disagreements will be high. And if it is not well managed, it is going to affect the day-to-day running of the business. Another challenge with partnership is the issue of business continuity. If one person is not there, what happens? If I have 30% shares in the business, wake up tomorrow, I'm dead. What happens to my shares? Does it mean that automatically whoever succeeds me walks into the business? What expertise is that person bringing on board? Is that person fit for purpose? These are issues that comes up as a challenge or a disadvantage to partnership agreements. And sometimes it comes with an unlimited liability, depending on the type of partnership that you are running. If you are running a limited liability partnership, fine, that one, your risk is only limited to your investment in the business. But if it happens that you are running an unlimited partnership, in the worst case, your personal assets will be attacked when they need be. So that is it's a disadvantage. It's a risk we need to consider very well when we are thinking of running a partnership agreement. Doc, any question before I proceed?
Yes. I want to just go back a bit on the last but one point you just mentioned about when we lose one partner, what happens to the shares of the other one? Would you please explain that a bit again?
Yes, that was when I was talking about business continuity.
Yeah.
When we say business continuity, it simply means in the absence of the individuals running the business, what happens? Can the business survive or it will collapse? If we'll be very frank with ourselves, one of the greatest problems we have as Africans is the challenge of business continuity.
Yeah.
Ask me why. Why? Because most of our businesses are either sole proprietorship businesses, because hardly will that thing happen to the limited LLCs. And even that, it happens there because the managing director who established the business, one man contractor, even though it's an LLC, but he's taking sole decisions. Because when you go into their business, you see that 100% shares is for him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he is not there, the whole thing comes to ground zero. So the business continuity concept is all about, if the people are not there, what happens? Is the business collapsing? Kofi Manu Enterprise, if Kofi Manu dies, the sad thing is that Kofi Manu won't even tell his children that I have a bank account at SSB. So when I'm not there, go for the money, because he thinks that if he tells them, they will kill him. So he dies and nobody knows where what is. So everything, the business cannot continue. And it is a challenge with partnership, because assuming three people are running the business and one person dies, of course, the two other people cannot automatically inherit the shares of the other person, because, mind you, the other person to have family members he left behind. So what happens? Is the business going to be run by only the two people, or they are going to co-opt somebody to come and replace the person who has passed away? These are issues that needs to be discussed, and we'll get there. I don't know whether my answer is clear for you.
Yes, we're very clear. So I see the advantages here, and I think that all of us on this call, my dear friends, let's see how we can explore and take advantage of partnership. Because, I mean, for example, what I love most about what Dr. Lawyers has just said is about the access to expertise. If most of us are entrepreneurs with some technical knowledge, I mean, some of us on this call are nurses, some of them are doctors and lawyers and architects and all that on this call right now. Now, if you are a nurse or you are a midwife or you are even a lawyer, you have the expertise in that area. How about partnering with another person with some business management background that can help you to build that business that you want to run? I love that. I love that. So all that we are saying tonight is that what can we do to leverage on these advantages so that we can build our businesses to life? That's the most important thing now. Lawyer, I love your picture.
Thank you.
That's my man. Great. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the discussion unfolds, you may want to drop your question in the chat box. We'll read it for Lawyer to listen to us. If you want, you can send it to me directly on WhatsApp or on the page, and we'll read that as well. Lawyer, can we please proceed?
Yes. So let's move on now. The big question: why is it that partnership businesses struggle? Why? What is actually the problem? Because looking at the advantages we've spoken about, it should be a very good opportunity for people to make wealth. But looking at our environment, quite a lot of them don't see the light of day. Let's look at a few things. Why it is so. I've turned off my video because of the network. It will disrupt it. Sorry. Now, a few things. Divergent visions. A says, let's go to the right direction. B says, let's stand here. C says, let's go to the left. So there is a total confusion as to the sense of direction where we should head the business towards. That is one thing. Now, the other thing is the commitment of the people to the business. In most cases, you see that there is one person who has become a jack of all trades. He's practically doing everything just to make sure the business survives. The other people are only interested in their dividends. It will get to a point where those who think they are working too much, they will start complaining, and then confusion sets in. Another thing is financial disputes. When there is profit, what happens? When there is loss, what happens? When there is profit, everybody wants to benefit. When there is loss, everybody wants to run away. So what do? These are very practical challenges that confront partnership businesses in our part of the world. Another thing is lifestyle. Lifestyle. Normally, when people are starting businesses, we start small because all things being equal, we don't have anything. When we start seeing the money, and people start thinking of how to drive Mercedes, people start thinking of how to drive the Range Rovers, forgetting that those monies may come from the resources of the business. So again, it all runs into conflicts. I want this, I want that, and then a whole lot of confusion comes in. Let's take note of that one. Another challenge or another reason why we have these issues is to the effect that roles are not well defined in the partnership businesses. So there's always an overlap of roles because we all think that we are all owners. So I should be able to do what Kofi is doing. I should be able to do what the other person is doing. It ends up being a challenge to the business. There should be clear rules. If your role is to ensure that deliveries are done, that is your rule. You report on it. If your role is to ensure that our financial accountants are intact, that is your rule. Don't force yourself to go and handle what the delivery person is supposed to do. You create problems. So it is one thing that we need to look at. Another thing is exit strategy complications. Hello, Doc. Are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Yes. Exit strategy complications. You know, in as much as everybody is at liberty to walk into a partnership agreement, anybody too is at liberty to walk out. But the issues comes up when somebody wants to walk out. What is the person going out with? Is the person going out as a person leaving the shares behind, or the person is leaving with his or her investments? If care is not taken, it will, and mind you, for all you know, the person who is trying to exit probably may be holding the largest shares in the business. So if the person is leaving, automatically the work is coming to ground zero. It is something that is really affecting us. And our interpersonal conflicts. You know, let's look at this scenario. Partners running a business, a man and a woman, and there's a fight at home. They wake up, they all drive to the office to work. You see what is likely to happen at the workplace that particular day. If they are not people who are so matured and who are able to differentiate business from pleasure or social life from business life, there is no way that business can survive. There's no way. Because they will bring their emotions, they will bring their sentiments from what has happened at home into the business. Let's even forget about man and woman, like partners, married man, no, even friends. An incident that happens at an event can transcend into the business. We go for party, there's an issue there. We come to work the next day, everybody has found their face. What is going to happen? So our interpersonal conflict runs into the business and it affects it a great deal. These are things that we need to check. So now the question is, what do we do? What do we do?
All right.
The answer to every okay, Doc.
Yeah, so just before you go on there, so ladies and gentlemen, once again, you can drop your chats, your questions in the chat box or send it to us directly via the community page. Resume, you want to open the page so that if you have any question, kindly drop it there. Let's ask lawyer. If you're unable to speak, maybe where you are, there's some noise in the background, kindly drop it in the chat box or here or on the WhatsApp page, and we'll definitely wait for lawyer to help us to understand. Lawyer, this issue about conflicts between, for example, friends who have come together into partnership, between husband and wife, between boyfriend and girlfriend. But as I discussed with you earlier on, there's an issue that is currently pending seriously. It was dying off a bit, but it came back again. A husband and a wife who have built a maternity home together. The husband is an architect. The wife is a midwife. The wife used their license to open the maternity home. The husband used his architect per se, draftsman. Yes, exactly. Supported the wife to do this together. And now, small issue came up. The two couples are in big issue. They don't even talk to each other. You know, so it's something that is really happening. And especially once we are not able to manage our emotions, it affects even the business itself. So instead of we trying to solve our differences, it ends up affecting the business and eventually the business collapses. I mean, a maternity home where they could have between 10 to 15 deliveries per month. Now they are doing even less than 2 in a whole month. Outpatients was between 25 to 30. Now they can't even get 10 in a day. All because the two elephants are fighting and it's a girl that's really struggling now. So I'm very happy that you really hit on that. And I'm sure by the time we finish today, we would be able to understand what exactly we need to do to manage these situations when they come up. All right. But just before you go on, I think one of our friends just dropped a question in the chat box. You may probably want to read that before you go on to continue with your submission. Please, can it be considered as partnership if someone uses his strength, energy, skills, and example, a mason uses his strength and skills to build a location for business without being paid for his work and keep on maintaining the building for the business growth. Is it to be considered as a partner? Okay, I think it's asking if somebody have a skill set, some idea, some experience that is bringing to bear to a business, can that be termed as partnership?
Yes, Doc, I get the question. Kindly mark that question down for me. We'll get there.
Great, great. And
Yeah,
then
so
we'll come back.
proceed,
We'll come back again to look at night breakers. And Tiage, thank you very much for joining us tonight. An amazing woman joined us. She's asking, how do you find the right partner? Ah, that's a big deep. That's very deep. And Tiage, we'll find out that tonight before we leave. All right, lawyer, please go ahead.
Yes. Before we go on to answer the questions and then proceed, let me. I may sound controversial, but lawyers, if we don't sound controversial, we'll behave like you. We don't want to be like you.
You will not make money. That's the thing. Say that.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that one. You see, if you really want to do business and do it well, that is the partnership that we are talking about. Avoid family. Avoid family. Avoid family because...
What does it mean to avoid family?
Okay. Our social settings as Africans, it is so difficult to be very hard on a family member. It comes with us. You can't do anything about it. Everything about our social settings gives room for people to misbehave. That is why when you go to the Chiefs Palace, we have the Antwahin. The Antwahin simply means when you go and do something wrong, just go to him. He'll go and beg for you. In Europe, we don't have the Antwahin. So the laws work. Everything about our settings encourages us to do what is wrong. It's a fact. Avoid family. What I simply mean is that because we are so much attached to our family system, our emotions always come to life when it comes to family. So at the end of the day, if you involve family in business, unless you are able to disengage emotions from business, which is very difficult to do, because imagine your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and you are doing business with this person. The business, some things are going wrong. Mind you are going to lose their business and you are going to lose their relationship.
Yeah,
it's true. It's just like giving church money for loan. The person will take the loan, he won't pay, he will stop the check. So you lose your money, you lose your member.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you engage family, there's going to be friction among family members. Because if you employ your niece, your nephew, your younger brother, your senior brother, and there's a problem, mind you, you can't apply business tactics to solve the problem. It will definitely go back to the family setup. We'll sit and talk about it. Then they will tell you blood is thicker than water. Your money is gone. There's going to be a forever feud between you and that family member. So you've lost the affection for that family member. And you've lost your investment as well. Vis-a-vis dealing with an outsider, somebody you are not related to, you can even let the police arrest that person. But you let a family member misapply your funds in the business and then arrest him this evening. The whole night you won't sleep. Your phone will be ringing the whole night. Even your pastor will call you. Your mother will call your pastor. Call this person. He has arrested his brother. Then they will call and quote all the Bible quotations. They will never quote the Bible quotations. That will tell you that you've lost money. So be very mindful. If you can't handle family members as business partners, don't engage them. Have you asked yourself why now Ghanaian businesses are bringing in Indians to come and manage their businesses? It's a big question that you need to answer. Because the Indian man don't understand Grantwahin. The Indian man don't understand blood is thicker than water. For them, it's business. So let's be very mindful.
Yeah.
You will lose the relationship and you will lose your money. So back to the question. The answer to everything that we've spoken about is a business plan.
Mm.
There should be a business plan. I mean, if it is there, the strategies are there. Nobody talks. The system will work. It's all about systems and structures. Just like the couple the example that you cited, if from the onset they had just told themselves, we are putting pen and paper, we are putting everything on paper. This is how we are going to run our business. For the first 3 years, this is what we are going to do. First 3 years, we are going to employ 3 people. There will be no family member involved in our business. First 3 years, each person is going to commit X amount of money. First 3 years, nobody goes on break. First 3 years, we do this. After the first 3 years, the next 4 years, this is the plan. After the next 8 years, this is the plan. And then they work it. They wouldn't be where they are now.
Mm.
They started the business, even though it's business, they have that social ties mind at the back in their heads. So they are not able to distinguish between when to take a business decision and when to take a family decision. That is the problem that they have.
Mm. Mm.
So for me, the whole answer, one, it's a good business plan. And within a good business plan, it's a good partnership agreement. Because in a partnership agreement, it should be, I said here the last time we had this discussion that to draw up a partnership agreement is a whole big deal because it should encompass everything, even to the point of if all the partners die, what happens?
Mm.
Everything means everything. So that from the onset, we are all clear in our minds. We won't get to that point where one person thinks that we are making a lot of money, so I should buy a Range Rover. When in our business plan and in our partnership agreement, it doesn't allow that. So once it doesn't allow that, if somebody brings up the idea, you just refer the person to the document. This is what we've all agreed to run by. It solves everything. So for me, one, a very good, comprehensive, a solid partnership agreement is all we need. Beyond that, you need a good and a very comprehensive business plan. The day-to-day running of the business, everything must be documented and everybody must append. If we are all committing X, we are all committing X. If we are all committing Y, we are all committing Y. How we are going to share our profit, how we are going to manage our liabilities, our losses, everything should be on paper. Somebody would ask me, if partners are running a business, how do you expect them to put everything on paper? A man and a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, how do you expect them? Because emotions are involved, there is love, there is affection. Then you are not ready to do business. Go and do it with somebody else because you lose the relationship and you lose your money. At least save one. For me, save the love. Go and get the money elsewhere with another partner. Form partnership elsewhere and bring the money home and let the woman spend. Rather than trying to do that business with the woman, you end up fighting in the house. You go to the office and fight. If you fight in the house and fight in the office, where can you survive?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you think the two of you emotionally, you are not matured enough to separate emotions from business, please don't even dare. You will lose both. Losing both for me is deadly. Back to the question where somebody asked if somebody is contributing his skill set. It all depends on what is in the partnership agreement. So now every answer I'll give, I'll refer to the partnership agreement.
Mm.
It's not everybody who has money to invest in a business. Some have the intellectual abilities.
Yeah.
So it depends on the parties. How are you going to quantify the skills? So the person is a mason. He is building the factory. How are you going to monetize his effort? You should be able to place value, monetary value on it. And that becomes his or her investment in the business. You are bringing money. Somebody is using the money to build. So if we can do a simple calculation, if a mason goes for a labor work in a day, how much is the person paid? How many months is that particular individual using to build that factory? So multiply it. It is easy to get a monetary value attached to that effort that the person is putting in. So yes, monetize the effort, monetize the skill. Because the question is, if it hadn't been that person, you would have gone out to bring in an artisan who was going to build. Wouldn't you have paid that person? If the answer is yes, if you would have paid, then monetize that, and let it become the contribution of this person who is doing that particular work for the partnership, and that becomes this equitable contribution to the business. And then
that has to be documented too.
Of course, it has to be. It has to be documented. It has to be documented. Everything. For me, documentation is everything. Oral agreements are very difficult to enforce. Very, very difficult. Because at the end of the day, to be your word against the other person.
Yeah.
There wasn't a third party. In tree, we say, two man be and we any bright, it mustn't be mommy. If you go and do two man, at the end of the day, you go about explaining yourself to people who are the people who are explaining yourself to, they were not there. But I always say, book don't lie. Book don't lie. So that is my answer to that question.
Great.
There was another question. How do you identify
a good partner?
Can I answer that one?
Yes, please. The right
one. Yes, one. You need to know what you want to do. It's just like you are traveling and you want somebody to go with you on the journey. You don't just get up and choose anybody at all. So let's say you want to go to Canada. You want somebody to accompany you to Canada. You don't choose somebody who is afraid of cold weather. Because Canada has cold weather. You don't choose somebody who is afraid of height, because you can't go to Canada by car. So where you are going determines the people you come with. If you are somebody who is so controlling, you don't go in for another person who is so controlling, who always want to have autonomy over business. You fight. So first of all, know yourself. You the individual who wants to form that, know yourself. Know your game plan. What am I going to deal in? What does it entail? Who are the people that I need on board? In the midst of all this, you need to know your temperament, what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate. If you are able to identify some of these factors, it will help you identify the people you need in your team. There's not anybody at all that you need. So one, the kind of business you are going to deal in will determine the kind of people you need on board. How sustainable the business will be, of course, will be determined by the people who are going to run it. So you don't just get up and go in for anybody at all. So know where you are traveling to, the things you require on your journey, so that when you are going to Canada, you don't go and take somebody who is afraid of flying in the air. That person will cry till get. I don't know. You have to bring the person back. Waste of time. So you having a very good assessment, a very good business plan. We say like begets like. Like-minded people are able to do proper business. So get people who have the same passion as you have. Know what you can take, what you can't take. The things you can't take, don't bring them in. It will collapse your business. That is how I can answer that particular question. I don't know whether I've helped.
Yeah, you have. And then, okay, so in trying to find the right partner, what you are saying, number one, is for you to make sure that you know yourself first. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So that you bring somebody to complement your efforts. Number
Exactly.
two, once you know who you are, you must know what you need from this person. So it helps.
Yes.
It helps you to choose the right person. And then number three, you said again, which for me is very critical, is the issue about temperament. Because if you bring the same people with the same kind of temperament, it's just too few. It's just shit. Yeah. All right. Great. So there's another question here from Nana Dichum. Says that what red flags should one look for before entering a business partnership? Even before and even whilst I will even add whilst you are still in this partnership, what are some of the red flags you should be looking out for?
Okay, let me answer it this way. Assuming there is a comprehensive plan that you are working with. For me, if you want to do a business, if you want to do a partnership business, you don't have this comprehensive plan, forget it. Forget it. You are just postponing your death. That means you are just postponing the collapse of your business. Eventually to collapse. I can bet with my last person. It can work. So some of the red flags is one, if the people in the business are not able to take charge of their emotions, it's a problem. Yes. Africans, I don't know, we are so emotional. I don't know why it is so. And it transcends to business. People who begin to do things contrary to what we've agreed as a plan is a red flag. especially with finances and strategy.
Mm. Mm.
We need to be very mindful. And again, the fact that we are done forming the partnership doesn't mean we should go to sleep. Whilst in the business, we need to keep our eyes wide open. People who want to do anything that is contrary to a feature of partnership is a red flag. I said that in partnership, you can't have autonomy. But a situation where somebody always wants to have control is a red flag, it's dangerous.
Mm.
They will be scheming. Once they're able to scheme, they will get people on their side. And before you could say, Jack, there has been a palace school. Yes, there has been a palace school. So we need to take note of that. And then when communication becomes problematic,
Mm.
it's a red flag. I always say that in any establishment, there should be laid down communication tools, which are official for anybody to use. People who know me very well that when I'm dealing with you officially, I don't deal with WhatsApp. Send me a mail.
Mm.
Because if my phone gets missing, me, I'm not a technology person. If my phone crashes, how am I going to get a chat? How am I going to get a record? Let's do emails. Yahoo Gmail, it doesn't get lost unless I forget my password. Even that one I can reset. So there should be a clear way of communication. And another thing we need to be very mindful is how conflicts are resolved in the business. Again, it comes back. All these things must be spelled out in our partnership agreement. So, in summary, anything that goes contrary to the survival of the business is a red flag, especially looking at the characteristics of a partnership agreement, the features. Anything which is opposite the features is a red flag that we need to take note of. And if possible, if we can handle it, we deal with it as quickly as possible before it turns out bad for us. I don't know whether I've been able to
Yeah, you have. You have.
answer the question.
You have. Nice one. So we are getting a lot of messages in the chat box. I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts and all that. I see from Top Dog Africa, solid perspective lawyer. There is also a business matrix that can be used. It assesses your strengths and needs and map out what partners would be most appropriate. Lawyer, I have a question here that I wanted to ask you when we're talking about the answer. What do we do as far as getting this thing that is concerned? So we talk about having a very solid partnership agreement. Number two, having a very solid, comprehensive business plan. And then, I mean, you added to it slightly that it has to be executed per the letter, not just we are going to clean up anything else. Whatever has been agreed in the partnership agreement and the business plan must be implemented to the letter. Okay. What role would the partners having an arbitrator, what role would the person play as far as it's concerned? Is it necessary at all?
It depends. It depends. It depends. I've said it depends 3 times. It depends on the type of conflicts that are likely to arise. An arbitrator for me is good because he's a neutral person. He isn't part of the business. So that person will be able to speak truth to power and then try as much as possible to resolve the issue. So I will recommend that because if another person who is part of the partnership is the one playing the arbitration role, the person is likely to take sides. Let's always have it at the back of our mind that we Africans, we are emotional human beings. We always want to, and one thing about us is that we don't want to hurt anybody. That is why people who are very outspoken, we see them to be societal misfits. Yes, but a neutral third party will be able to think straight, think well, see where the challenges are, help the parties resolve for the business to continue. Because mind you, assuming 5 people are in the agreement, one person is playing the mediation arbitration role. Any party who the decision doesn't sit well with will have a problem with that particular person. Another time may come where the other person who wasn't happy the last time may have to play the arbitration role. You know, you do me, I do you. God know the best. It may set in. We are vindictive people. I mean, we are social beings. That is how we are. So I'll recommend that when it gets to that point, a neutral third person who isn't part of the business, of course, a professional may suffice to help resolve conflict when there need be.
Great. Thank you very much. What role would spirituality play as far as we choosing our partners are concerned, lawyer?
Right. Okay, so at this point, call me Reverend Sakode.
Sir.
Yeah, you know, um, whether we like it or not, I always tell people that there's always an interaction between the natural and supernatural.
Yeah.
In true, we say people will be at it. And I normally, those who see my WhatsApp, I always write something like, "May what you believe in save your life." Everybody has what he or she believes in. If you believe in prayers, pray.
Mm.
If you believe in your instincts, let it be so. If you are a Muslim and you believe in your Quran and what the Quran teaches you, that is your faith. It will be difficult to say yes or no to that particular question because probably what she believes in, I don't.
Yeah.
So I would say that may what you believe in guide you. If you are an atheist and for you everything flows as a test, may that guide you. If you so believe that you need to pray, and mind you, prayer is not only for Christians. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is a ritual. Anybody at all can do that. So for our Christian brothers and sisters, prayer is not for you alone. It's for everybody. The fetish who is chanting is a prayer. So prayer is a religious ritual. It is your expression of your faith in something. So what you believe in may it guide you. If you feel that your pastor needs to come in, I always tell people that I don't have pastor friends for reasons best known to me. But I'm not that I don't believe in God, I do. But I have my own reasons. So if you think that you need your pastor in there, let him pray for you. But in the midst of all this, may it not be said, but you didn't use your mind or you didn't use common sense. That is why the Bible says that "Monyame sompa adwin ewom,"
Mm.
that adwin must be in there. I always say that it's not everything that prayer solves because God has given us the mind to do things. We are just, yeah, Hannah. So pray for guidance. But in all of this, may what you believe in guide you.
Great. I remember when we taught this in class some years ago, one of our professors, what he told us was that irrespective of the direction you are taking it from, as far as your partner, even in terms of marriage is concerned and in business, do you have the peace of mind? Do you get a peace when you decide to go with this person? So if you decide to bring me into your business as your partner, or I decide to bring you into my business as a partner, do I have that peace of mind? Do I have that peace, that inner peace with me that I've met the right person? Well, he uses that as a litmus test to determine if he's meeting the right person or not. So that's something I also want to add to it. Uh, Doc, my question is, I formed a partnership with my friend. We did not do any agreement, and we did not even agree either verbally also. Unfortunately, something went bad. We had one aboboya and one wheelbarrow. When the issue happened, this my friend took away the aboboya and left me with the wheelbarrow. But sorry, I'm laughing, forgive me. Left me with only the wheelbarrow. And I chased my friend to get the wheelbarrow back, but he never brought it. I think by this time he has even sold it and chopped the money. Lawyer, should I arrest this person or should I allow him to go?
Hey,
Wow, this deep. What do we do?
so you know, well, everything that we've said, it all comes back to the same solution to everything.
Hmm.
How do we dispose of assets in the event of liquidation?
Yeah,
Um, when we've gone bankrupt, what happens to our assets and our liabilities? I know very well that these were things that they never had it in their contemplation that they will get there.
yeah,
Nobody start business with the mind that it will collapse. No, 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 nobody. Even this death that we all die, we don't wake up in the morning thinking that we can die, even though we will die. So for them, it was purely for me, it was a social contract that they had because they were like friends doing
yeah,
uh, to arrest the person or not to arrest the person is his personal, it's his right. If he feels that he's been cheated, of course, he can test the law.
yeah.
He can test it. But mind you that if you are taking an Abubuya case to court, they may charge you more than the price of the Abubuya.
Because
So
you
take
hear
your
that.
decision. Yes, take your decisions very carefully.
Thank you very much for this program. I think so far this is the program that I this is the program that I've found around. My question is, I am a pharmacist. I am a pharmacist, and my brother has money. We have decided to come together to build a pharmacy shop. Doc, what's your advice? Okay, so I think that he's a pharmacist, his brother has money, and they are trying to come together to set up his pharmacy business. So I think just as the Doc, please maybe if you can want to answer to that. So now this guy has money, this one has the skills, has a certification. So it's most likely that his brother would use his license to get the certificate to get a license for the pharmacy shop, and the brother most likely to fund it. I think that's what he's trying to ask.
Exactly. So my simple answer to this very question is that I only pray they've not started. But if they have started, they need to ratify it as quickly as possible. In as much as they are brothers, thankfully enough, they've all been to school. So their emotional intelligence level, for me, I will assume it's high. They should put their brotherhood aside, see themselves as business partners, sit and draw a very comprehensive partnership agreement. Mind you, he is a pharmacist. The pharmacy can only operate on his certificate.
Yeah.
And that same certificate, he can rent it out to another person and take a huge sums of money for another person to use it to operate his or her pharmacy. So he should look at it like, this person isn't my brother. I am just giving my certificate to a neutral person to operate a pharmacy. How am I going to charge the person? I'll charge the person X amount. That X amount becomes your equitable contribution to the business. So you put it in there that this is your contribution and this will be your return in the event of a profit or a loss. So everything comes back to the same issue. Put it into writing. Forget about family. It's business. Treat it attached.
Great. Well, at what point should we involve a lawyer in drafting this agreement? Can I be myself with my friend? Can husband and wife sit together and just do it? Or we always have to involve a lawyer in this?
Oh, for that one, now, because of Professor AI, people just take AI, they punch in anything and then it comes. But the advice I will give is this. Laws are enforced based on jurisdiction. If you use AI, I don't have any problem. If you decide to use AI, it's your own risk. If you use AI will give you a general information. Mind you, there will be a clause in your agreement which is not enforceable in Ghana. So if there is a problem and you bring out the agreement, we will tell you that this particular clause, you can't enforce it. It's not even in our laws. Then over there, your whole agreement comes to ground zero. And one thing about business agreement is that when we go to the courts are very mindful not to interfere. One, because they think that it was done by people who knew what they were doing, who are of age to go into any agreement, and they've done same. So if there is a breach and we bring it to the court, they will only use the literal means of interpretation, and Lord, that's how we call it. They will just interpret it as they say it. So if we bring in clauses which are not enforceable in Ghana, know that you are just postponing your own cry. So I will always advise that, fine, you can use your AI, but know that you are taking your risk. When it crystallizes and you bring it to us, you pay more than you would have bought it for us to draw the agreement for you, because it is difficult to solve problems than to prevent them. So I will advise that if there need be, seek advice, seek guidelines. And another thing is that if there's a partnership, I think I did some partnership agreement for some people here. Yes. And I had to sign and stamp. Yes, I had to sign and stamp with my official stamp. For lawyers, we are very much mindful of our stamp, even more than the food we eat. So whenever you see, yes, your stamp on the obwa. So for me to append my stamp, it tells you that I know what I have done. Yeah. And it makes it so enforceable in any court of law, because prepared by a lawyer's name is there. When it matters most, the court will subpoena that lawyer to come and answer questions on that particular agreement. And because the lawyer knows that when you are subpoenaed, a lot of things can happen in court, they are very mindful. So I will advise that you seek a lawyer's advice. Some even can do it for free. Don't think of how much they will charge. Of course, the bar must prosper, so we will charge. But probably we may be merciful.
Great.
Doc, thank you.
Thank you very much. We start the business as sole proprietorship, and for whatever we go to bring partners in. What are the processes? Is it possible?
Oh, it is possible.
Okay.
It is possible. It is possible. It's only about changing the dynamics of the business in
Yeah.
terms of ownership. That is all. Ownership and control. Nothing changes. The only thing you need to make sure is that the people you are bringing shares the vision of what you've already started. They are not coming in to alter it unless, indeed, as a group, you've decided to alter some portions of the business. Other than that, if you are bringing them in and you still want your business plan to exist, your roadmap to flow, then you must be very clear in your mind before you bring them in. So it can be that it's only the business nature, the type of business which is changing, not the object of trade. That isn't changing. And probably maybe the strategy that may change. And mind you, once you bring in people, you lose control. So you take
Of
note of
Hypack
that.
Service and all the people who have joined us tonight for us to discuss this, I want to say a very big thank you once again for making time to join us. Your insight and your
Doc,
authenticity.
thank you for the opportunity as well.
Yeah. I mean, I call you last minute all the time, and you're always willing to help us. I mean, no matter what I'll keep calling last minute. Don't worry. Every time,
No
anywhere.
problem. I always answer last minute. Don't worry.
We are very grateful. We are very grateful for the passion to help
Grateful to you.
save more businesses. I mean, I've become so passionate about this business because as I talk to you now, I have 7 of my friends who have technically become fugitives in their own home. They can't even stay in their own homes because they lost their business, they lost their money, police is chasing them, customers are chasing them. They can't even take care of their own family. It hurts me. And our desire here, right here, and the same applies to you, you've told me several times, what can we do together to save people's investments? What can we do together to save the lives of many people? What can we do together to ensure that people who invest their time, their resources, and their monies into businesses are able to get the benefit out of that, take care of their families, build a very successful business, and make all of us better? Now, people have to take care of these other people because they can't even stay on their own homes. That is the reason why we do this every Thursday. And please, if you need help, if you need any help, please don't hesitate at all to get to us. We are here to help you. We are here for you to start the business the right way. We are here to help to manage the business the right way. We are here to help you to grow the business the right way. We have all the experts around. We have the lawyers, we have the bankers, we have the finance people, we have the marketers, we have the HR experts. We have every single aspect that you need to be able to run the business the way you want to run it to make it very successful. Once again, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. Join us again next week, Thursday, as we take on another topic that will help you to build your business to last.